faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellows and girls, have you ever seen a squadron of American bombers roaring through the air in formation? Have you seen newsreel pictures of Uncle Sam's destroyers cutting through the seas on patrol in search of enemy subs and surface raiders? I'm sure you have, and I bet you were thrilled. You probably felt terribly proud, too. Well, if you've been buying war-saving stamps regularly, you have a right to be proud. Not only because those planes and those ships represent the fighting spirit of America, but because you helped to build them. Yes, sir. Every time you bought a war-saving stamp, your money helped by the labor and materials that are used to make planes and ships and equipment to knock out the Nazis and the Japs. So next time you hear some boy or girl on your block say, "Oh, shucks, what difference does it make if I buy one stamp or not? What difference can one dime make?" You tell them that it does make a difference. It makes a big difference. Tell them, for instance, that 5 dimes will buy enough fuel oil to take an American destroyer 1 full mile closer to its objective, or that 1 dime will buy 5 .45 caliber bullets. Tell them that if every boy and girl in the United States bought just one 10-cent war-saving stamp every day, it would add up to enough money to buy a lot of swift pursuit planes with which our Army and Navy forces could blast the Axis out of the air. And while you're at it, you might remind them that this is one way that all you fellows and girls can help win this war. Now, after all, everybody can't join Uncle Sam's armed forces, but all of us can buy war-saving stamps. So talk it over with Mother and Dad tonight. Tell them that you want to help Uncle Sam win this war by buying war-saving stamps regularly, every day if possible. And I'm sure that they'll be glad to cooperate.
And now, the adventures of Superman. For some strange reason, a web of oriental mystery seems to be closing around Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen, visitors to the city of Mecca in distant Arabia. To begin with, a knife was hurled at Kent as he and Jimmy were walking through a narrow street. Then Jimmy disappeared, and to cap the climax, a poisoned black Narcissus was delivered to Kent's hotel room. In the meantime, Jimmy had called on the phone, saying he was unable to tell Kent and Lois where he was, but warning them that they all must leave Mecca immediately. In the face of all this, Kent decided to seek the help of the ruling potentate of Mecca, Sheikh Hussein Mohammed, who had, the day before, requested Kent to journey into the Belgian Congo in search of his son, missing for 15 years. In the midst of Kent's and Lois's conversation with the Sheikh, the aged Arabian ruler suffered a heart attack. Dying, he told Kent that his brother, Ben Ali Mohammed, was the leader of the deadly cult of the Black Narcissus, that it was he or his murderers who had made the attempts on Kent's life and probably abducted Jimmy Olsen in order to keep Kent from finding the Sheikh's missing son. As our story continues today, Lois has returned to the hotel, while Kent, in his true role of Superman, has gone in search of the Sheikh's brother. He has just leaped to the rear balcony of a house near the Temple of Allah. Listen.
There's a light in the room up this balcony. 4 men are seated around a table. Great Scott, one of them is that messenger, Keda, the Arab who first summoned me to the Sheikh's palace. So, he's in on this, too, eh? Well, there's only one thing to do. Break in, round them up, and locate Jimmy. The chances are they've got him in this house. Well, here goes. Don't move, any of you.
I have seen such a one in the marketplace. He has the strength of 10 men.
You are quite right, Keda.
You know my name?
Yes, and I know a good deal more, too. Which one of you is Ben Ali Mohammed?
It is I who bear that name.
You are the brother of the Sheikh? What have you done with the young American boy, Jimmy Olsen?
Of that I know not.
You're lying.
No.
Where is the American boy? Answer me before I lose my temper.
Those
Those knives won't do you any good. You might just as well put them away. Someone's going to get hurt, and it won't be yours truly.
You had better surrender, Effendi.
Surrender? To 4 Arab cutthroats with knives? Not on your life.
Get
Here we go. There. That takes care of 2 of you. Now then, Van Alley, where is he? Where is Jimmy Olsen?
Effendi, I was plead ignorance, all-powerful one. Please be merciful.
Don't make me laugh. Neither of you knows what the word mercy means. You particularly, Van Alley. I've heard all about you and the Black Narcissus cult. I know you've been waiting around for your brother the Sheik to die so you can inherit his title and his riches.
He knows all. He is not human.
You've got something there, but enough of this talk. Now lead me to where the American boy is hidden at once.
We do not know. By the prophet, we do not know.
I've heard enough of your lies.
This is the truth. Taylor speaks the truth. Of this crime, we are not guilty.
You mean you haven't seen the boy? You didn't carry him away from in front of that house where the knife was thrown?
No. This we did not do, Effendi.
Strangely enough, I'm inclined to believe you. But I'm going to search this house just to make sure. Now, don't either of you move from this room if you value your lives.
We will do as you say, Effendi.
Where does that door lead?
To the stairway going to the ground floor.
All right. Remember, don't move.
No.
Now is our chance, Vanelli. We can escape him.
Yeah, Matt Tater. Where can we go?
What matter where we go? To escape him is enough. Come, we will climb over the balcony.
No. I do not think it is wise. If he is all-powerful, he will find us. And I shudder to think of what will happen. Look on the floor. Abu and Takan do not move a muscle. No, it is best that we do not attempt to flee. He is not human, that one.
What do you expect will happen if we remain? He will have us behind bars. Did I not throw the knife at that reporter? Did you not send him a poison Narcissus?
The poison Narcissus? Quiet. He returns.
It's a good thing you 2 didn't try to get away.
Such a thought was never in our minds, Effendi.
All right, now, you 2, listen to me. I'll give you a chance to save your hides. Jimmy Olsen is somewhere. He vanished late this afternoon. Now, I want you to find him and return him to Clark Kent at the Oriental Hotel.
There are many boys in Mecca, Effendi. How would we know this one?
He's about 5 feet tall, has blonde hair, freckles, and bluish-gray eyes. His name is Olsen. Jimmy Olsen.
And what if we find him, Effendi? You will do us no harm.
I'm making no promises, but it'll pay you to find him. Otherwise, you may both find yourselves behind bars for a long time.
We will do our best, Effendi. This we promise.
All right, don't waste any time. I'm going now, but I'll be watching you. And remember, I never sleep. Up, and away!
Frankly, Clark, I don't quite understand why you let them out of your sight. Certainly, if they belong to the cult of the Black Narcissus, they're unscrupulous murderers.
Right now, they're scared to death.
Oh, you mean you frightened them?
Well, yes, of course. Well, that is, I mean...
Don't bother explaining. I'm sure they got down on their knees and begged for mercy the moment that you stepped into the room.
Well, as a matter of fact... Oh, what's the use? You never think I can do anything, but one of these days I'm going to become...
Become what?
Oh, never mind.
All right, let's forget it. In the meantime, it's dark and Jimmy isn't back. I'm going to call the police.
No, don't do that, Lois. It'll just complicate matters.
I'm sorry. I've waited too long as it is.
Wait a minute, Lois. Wait a minute. Someone's at the door.
How do you know?
Never mind how I know. Shh.
God, look. A note being pushed under the door.
Don't move. I'll get whoever it is.
Clark, he's running down the hall.
I'll get him.
Ow. Clark, who is it?
You would be surprised.
Ow. You hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yes, I'll hit you with more than a ton of bricks before I'm through.
Oh.
All right, come on, young man. Into the room.
Who is it, Clark? Good heavens, it's Jimmy.
Yes, Jimmy. Close the door.
Jimmy, what happened to you?
Oh, my head.
Yes, my head. You stop moaning or I'll give you something to moan about.
Don't talk to him like that. Heaven alone knows what he's been through.
Surprised at you, Lois. Don't you realize he's responsible for all this? That nobody kidnapped him. He made those mysterious telephone calls and tried to slip that note under the door just to make us believe he was in great danger.
Why?
Yes, why? That's what I want to know. All right. Start talking, young man.
I didn't mean to do anything wrong.
Don't bother about excuses. Why did you do it?
To get to go to Africa with you.
What's that?
Well, Mr. Kent said he didn't think he was going to take me to Africa. Well, I wanted to go. So I figured the best way was to make it look like we all had to get out of Mecca in a hurry.
Ah. Now, did you ever hear of anything like that in all your life?
Jimmy, you don't mean it.
I guess it was silly. But I wanted to go to Africa.
You wanted to go to Africa, and so you worried Lois and myself for 3 hours because of that. Aren't you ashamed?
Guess I am. A little.
Oh, only a little, eh?
Well, maybe a lot.
I'm really surprised at you, Jimmy. I thought you had more sense than that. Were you the one who left the black Narcissus at the door?
Black Narcissus? I don't know what you mean.
No, I'm afraid that was legitimate, Lois. Just so happened that Jimmy's stupid hoax dovetailed with the other thing.
Mr. Kent, did you find the fellow who threw the knife at you?
Yes, I did. Well, that is, not exactly.
Then we are in danger. I was right. We'd better get out of Mecca in a hurry.
Yes, and go to Africa, I suppose.
Sure.
Now, right now, you're going to bed. You sleep here in my room tonight. Lois and I are going out to send a cable to Mr. White. Have you had anything to eat?
Oh, I bought some dates and some funny kind of cakes with seeds.
No, I guess you won't die of hunger. Now get right to bed. You're so tired you can't keep your eyes open. Come on, Lois.
Oh, what about Africa, Mr. Kent?
We'll talk about Africa tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, Jimmy.
Good night.
Leaving the hotel, Kent and Lois walk toward the center of the city, where the cable office is located, unaware that their departure has been observed by the two members of the Black Narcissus cult, Ben Ali and Cada. Informed by Superman that Kent is living at the Oriental Hotel, the two Arabians decide to eliminate him in order to prevent his going into the Belgian Congo to find the Sheik's missing son. Swiftly crossing the street, they enter the hotel lobby and converse in hushed tones with the Arabian clerk at the desk. Then, like shadows, they depart. Hours later, when the city of Mecca is shrouded in silence, Ben Ali and Cada again enter the hotel, mount the carpeted steps to the second floor, and pause in the corridor.
You are sure, Ben Ali? There will be no mistake.
No mistake, I promise you. Did not our who is on duty at the desk tell us the room number of this reporter, Kent? Did we not see him return to the hotel long since?
That we did.
Then it is all simple. The room number is 19, there across the corridor. I have here a pass key. I will open the door quietly. You will enter, and in a moment there will be an end to it. You are ready? Then come.
You are sure the key will fit?
We will see. Yes. The door is now unlocked. I will open it. There in that bed is the reporter.
I see.
Go, Cada.
Here is the room, number 19.
What if the door is locked?
I have what is called a pass key, a key that will open the door of any room in this hotel. I will try it now.
Does the key fit?
Yes, the door is now unlocked. I will open it gently. Can you see anything, Cada?
I see a bed and a person asleep in it.
Good. It is the reporter, Kent. You will steal into the room, Cada, and perform the task. But be quick about it. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Then go, but be swift and silent.
Slipping into the darkened bedroom, Cada approaches the bed in which Jimmy Olsen is fast asleep, blissfully unaware of the danger hovering over him. Suddenly, the white-clothed Arab removes an ivory-handled knife from beneath his cape. His arm comes up, and for a moment the steel blade of the knife reflects the yellow light shining in the corridor. And then, for some strange reason, Cada's arm drops to his side, and his dark eyes shift uncertainly from one end of the room to the other. At the half-open door, Ben Ali's voice is nervously urgent.
Cada, be swift. Why do you hesitate?
Close the door, Ben Ali.
In the name of Allah, what has come over you?
Close the door.
The knife was upraised. I saw it. Why, then, did you not make use of it? In the name of the seven-bearded prophet, speak. Do not stand there staring at me. Why did you not perform your mission?
There are 2 beds in that room, Ben Ali, and there are 2 persons asleep in them.
2? I saw only one.
The other is hidden in darkness. He cannot be seen from the door.
For that reason, you failed to do as you were instructed.
I did not know what to do, on my honor.
You are a fool, Cada. Go back into that room and perform your mission.
On which person? In which bed?
What difference does it make? On both of them, if necessary.
Arguing heatedly over the problem of which of the 2 beds is being occupied by Clark Kent, Ben Ali and his henchman Cada move across the corridor to be out of earshot. Meanwhile, inside the room, a strange scene is taking place. Clark Kent, who had been waiting only for Cada to strike in order to stop the knife in midair, has decided on another move in the event the Arabian returns. Moving swiftly, Kent, as Superman, lifts Jimmy gently in his arms and transfers him to his own bed.
It's okay, Jim boy. Go to sleep. Yeah. Dead to the world. Now to get into his bed, pull the covers up, and wait for my Arabian friends.
In the corridor outside the room, Ben Ali has convinced Cater that there is only one thing to do.
It is as I say. You will have to give the knife to both persons in both beds. Otherwise, we will accomplish nothing.
I am afraid, Ben Ali. You're right.
Come then, let's get it over with. Attend to the bed nearest the door first. And this time, do not permit anything to stand in the way. I have promised to pay you well once I have inherited my brother's riches. Now I will double what I have promised.
Open the door, Ben Ali. This time I will not leave the room until the mission is performed.
Go, Keda, and be swift.
I go.
Once again, Cater slips into the room and approaches the bed nearest the door. His arm comes up, the knife flashes momentarily, then plunges down at the figure huddled under the covers.
The knife, it is shattered. The person in this bed is a thing of stone.
No, Cater, not a thing of stone.
Help. It is the devil in the red cape.
Not so fast, Cater. Are you with her, Ben Ali?
Flee, Keda, flee for your life.
Oh, no, you don't. Now, my two fine-feathered friends, now that I've caught you red-handed, you're going where you belong, to jail.
Oh, be merciful, powerful one.
I'll be merciful. What I should do is knock your crooked heads together until you can't see straight or tie your lying tongues in a knot.
Thank you.
Come on. You've got a date behind bars.
No. Where you're taking us, the stairway is in the other direction.
We won't use the stairway. It might attract attention.
But there is only a window at this end of the corridor.
Exactly. First, we'll open it. Now, we'll take one of you under each arm.
What are you doing?
We're going out the window, all three of us.
No, we will be killed.
It is murder, nothing but murder.
You're a fine one to speak of murder. Come on, you're wasting time.
Let me down.
Up, and away!
Diving out the open window with a terrified Arabian under each arm, Superman wings across the darkened city, resolved that once and for all, Ben Ali and his henchman Cater must be put behind bars. The following morning, in the hotel dining room, Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Jimmy are having breakfast, when suddenly Jimmy looks up from his plate and stares off into space.
Jimmy, for heaven's sake, stop dreaming and finish your cereal.
Oh, me? Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about that dream I had last night.
What dream?
Well, it's all kind of hazy, but I dreamed someone was standing at my bed, kind of hunched up over me, and he had a knife in his hand, and...
Oh, Clark, how could you be so clumsy?
I'm sorry, Lois. My hand slipped and overturned the glass.
I'm soaking
Oh,
wet.
it's only water. Here, let me help you.
No, never mind. I'll go up and change.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Lois.
Yes, I'm quite sure you are.
Gosh, I don't know why she got sore, Mr. Kent. You didn't upset the glass purposely.
Oh, Lois is on edge. And you're to blame.
Me? Why?
Well, that little disappearing act of yours had her worried to death. If you ever pull anything like that again, young man, our friendship is over.
Oh, don't worry, I won't. Say, can I tell you about the rest of my dream? About the guy with the knife?
Never mind it now. Some other time.
Okay.
Mr. Kent? Mr. Kent?
Oh, someone's paging me.
Yes, I know. Over here, boy.
Mr. Kent?
Yes?
I have two envelopes for you. One a cablegram and the other a sealed communication from the palace of the Sheikh Mohammed.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
The cable must be from Mr. White, don't you think?
Probably.
Well, what's it say?
Well, if you'll give me a chance to open it, I'll find out.
Can we go to Africa?
I'm afraid not. Here's what it says. No objection to Africa trip if someone foots bill.
Oh, will it take much money, Mr. Kent?
Oh, about $5,000. Of course, if I went alone...
Oh, I've got $16.80 in the savings bank back in Metropolis. I was saving it up to buy a war bond, but...
Buying a bond is much more important than going to Africa, Jimmy. Anyway, that wouldn't buy a 5-mile ride on a camel. No, I guess it's out. Now, let's see what the communication from the Sheik's palace is.
Didn't you say the Sheik died yesterday, Mr. Kent?
Yes, this is probably an announcement of... Great Scott.
Oh, what is it?
Well, Jimmy, look. A draft for $25,000 in American funds drawn on the Bank of Mecca.
Wow.
And a map of the Belgian Congo with an X marked on it and a notation, Prince Seba, son of the late departed Sheikh Hussein Mohammed, was last reported here.
Gosh, that means we can go. We've got the money and the map.
Jimmy, everyone in the dining room's looking at you. Keep your voice down.
We can go, can't we?
I suppose we can, but there's one thing I want clearly understood.
Oh, I'll do anything you say, Mr. Kent. I won't make a move without your permission. I promise I won't.
All right. But if you break that promise just once...
Don't worry, I won't break it.
Come on, then. Got plenty to do before we leave. We'll have to pack and buy some clothes suitable for the jungle, and most important of all, hire a plane to get us down there. Now, you go up and tell Lois while I pay our hotel bill.
Clark, are you quite sure that Arabian pilot is, well, you know, competent?
Well, he was recommended very highly. If anything goes wrong, I'll take the controls.
What on earth is Jimmy doing? Ever since we got on board, he's been hunched over a seat fiddling with a paper box.
Well, I'll find out. Jimmy, what are you doing?
Just a minute, Mr. Kent. Okay, I'm ready now.
Ready with what?
Miss Lane, this is for you. A going-away present.
Clark! It's a black Narcissus.
Where did you get that, Jimmy?
Oh, a man at the hotel gave it to me.
What?
He said to take it out of the box when we got on the plane and give it to Miss Lane.
Oh, drop it, Jimmy. Drop it.
Ow,
Jimmy.
I stuck myself on one of these darn thorns.
Jimmy, those thorns, they're poison.
What's the big idea, Mr. Kent? That's a pretty flower.
Jimmy, it's poison.
Poison?
Yes, the thorns are poison. One of them stuck you, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, but it doesn't
Let me
hurt.
see that finger. It's that pink spot, isn't it?
I guess so.
Clark, what are we going to do? Hadn't we better turn back?
Turn back? What for?
There's nothing you can shrug off, Jimmy. You heard us mention the black Narcissus cult. Oh, why did you take that flower out of the box?
Oh, gosh, I didn't know. I thought the man who gave it to me was the hotel manager, and he was sending a little gift to Miss Lane.
Clark, we're wasting precious moments. Tell the pilot to turn back. We've got to get Jimmy to a doctor.
How does the finger feel, Jim?
It feels all right. Are you sure those thorns are poison?
Positive. It's a method the cult uses to get rid of people. They sent one of those flowers to me last night.
Clark, if you won't tell the pilot to turn back, I will.
Now, don't lose your head, Lois. We're almost 200 miles out of Mecca. There isn't anything a doctor can do at this moment that we can't do.
We don't know what kind of poison it is, or whether there is an antidote or a serum to combat
Well,
it.
neither will a doctor. Sit down here, Jim.
Oh.
Sit down. That's it. Now roll your sleeve up.
Oh, what are you going to do, Mr. Kent?
We're going to handle this as though it were a snake bite. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the poison they used came from a pit viper.
What's a pit viper?
A venomous snake found in Africa and Arabia.
What's the penknife for, Mr. Kent?
Well, Lois should be able to tell you that. She took a Red Cross first aid course back in Metropolis.
Oh, Clark, you're not going to...
Yes, I am. All right, now here. Tie this piece of string above the first knuckle on his index finger. Now, just tight enough to stop the flow of blood.
That's called a tourniquet, isn't it?
Uh-huh. That's it. Now, if I can find some matches... Yeah, I've got some.
Clark, are you sure you're doing the right thing?
Positive. We'll just heat this knife blade as best we can under the circumstances. There we are. So, you don't mind a little pain, do you, Jimmy?
Who, me? Of course not.
Atta boy. That string all tied, Lois?
Yes.
Good. Now go up forward and ask the pilot whether he has a first aid kit on board. And if he has, get it. Oh, wait.
All right.
Before you go, light another match and give it to me, will you?
Here you are.
All right. Now get the first aid kit.
My finger's beginning to throb, Mr. Kent.
I know.
It aches a little. Just the tip of it.
That's because the blood supply is cut off. All right, we'll have that string off in a few minutes.
Here's the first aid kit. It's never been used.
Good. Open it, will you? What's in it, Lois?
Oh, iodine, alcohol, the bandage, adhesive tape, some cotton.
All right, that's plenty. Light one more match, will you? They're on Jimmy's lap.
Oh, here you are.
Why are you heating the knife blade, Mr. Kent?
To sterilize it, Jim. I'm going to make an incision, or a cut in your finger, Jim, in order to draw the poison blood out. It may hurt a little, but you just grit your teeth.
Don't worry about me. I can take it.
Here, let me hold your other hand, Jimmy.
I'll be all right, Miss Lane. Honest, I will.
Maybe you better not watch this, Lois.
Oh, well, if you can stand it, I can, Mr. Kent.
All right, we're ready. Now, I'll make a cross cut right over the spot where the thorn pierced your finger, Jim. And as soon as the cuts are made, put your finger in your mouth and suck the poison blood out. Have you got a handkerchief?
Yes, in my pocket.
Don't move, Jimmy. I'll get it. Here you are.
And now hold the handkerchief in your left hand. That's it. You all set?
Go ahead.
Okay. That's one cut. Hurt a little, huh?
Yeah, a little.
Sorry, Jim, but I've got to make just one more. There. All right. Into your mouth with it now. That's it. Suck hard. Open the alcohol, Lois. And the iodine, too. Let's have them both ready. That's it. Keep drawing that poison blood out, Jim. Get rid of it in your handkerchief. That's the boy.
Anything else, Clark?
Yes, cut off a piece of bandage. Not too long. Where's that adhesive tape?
Here it is.
All right, let's have a small strip. How you coming, Jim? Keep drawing that poison off.
Clark, I hope you're doing the right thing.
That's the same thing any doctor would do. That's why you were taught these things in first aid, to take care of emergencies like this. Is there a blanket around?
Yes, I think there is. Up on this rack.
Oh, good. We'll wrap him up and keep him good and warm once we get the bandage on. All right, let's have a look at that finger, Jim.
Look all right, Clark?
I guess he's drawn off about all the poison he can. How does it feel?
It hurts a little. Kind of throbs like.
The alcohol, Lois, and a little cotton. That's fine. Now we'll just clean it out. That doesn't hurt, does it, Jimmy?
No, it just stings.
You want the iodine, Clark?
Yes, please, and a clean piece of cotton. Thank you. Now, this may burn, Jim, but it'll be all over in a second.
There we are. Oh, boy. Did you say it may burn? Phew. I feel like I stuck my hand in a furnace.
Well, we can take the tourniquet off now. Hold still, Jimmy. There, that's better.
Gosh, tip of my finger turned blue.
That's because the tight string cut the blood supply off. Now, let's bandage it up, and you'll be all set. Spread your fingers out, will you, Jim? That's the boy. Now, we'll just run this over here. Now, the adhesive, Lois.
Here you are.
Thank you. So, there we are, all done. Now, young fella, we'll cover you with this blanket, and you try to get some sleep. Chances are you'll be tip-top by the time you awaken.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Kent, for everything.
Oh, you're quite welcome, Jim. Lois and I'll move up forward so our talking won't disturb you. Good night.
Good night, Jimmy.
Good night, Miss Lane. Good night, Mr. Kent.
Night. I guess this seat's as good as any. Gosh, you know, it's funny, but when I hired this plane, I told the man we had no use for a 10-passenger transport, but as it turned out, the extra space comes in handy. Look, maybe you'd like to get some sleep, Lois.
No, I'm not tired. I was just thinking.
About what?
You?
Thinking about me? How come?
Oh, I was just thinking what a strange mixture of persons you are. Sometimes you're shy and timid, and other times a brick wall couldn't stop you.
A brick wall? What do you mean?
I mean that once you make up your mind that something has to be done, you do it. And yet I've seen you behave like, well, to put it bluntly, like a coward. Somehow I always have a strange feeling that you're not a coward, though, really. It's almost as though you were leading a double life. What's the matter?
Something caught my throat.
Why don't you get some water?
Oh, I'll be all right.
Well, as I was saying...
wait, Lois, look out the window. We're crossing the Red Sea.
Oh?
Isn't it beautiful in the moonlight?
Is that the Red Sea?
Uh-huh.
How high are we flying?
Oh, I should say about 10,000 feet. Once we cross the Red Sea, we'll be in Egypt. By morning, we'll have reached the Upper Nile.
What's our first stop?
Khartoum, in Egypt.
I think the minute we land, we should take Jimmy to a doctor if there is one.
Oh, there are plenty of them. I happen to know there's a good hospital at Khartoum.
Oh, that's good.
Hey, there, you are tired. Why don't you try and sleep?
Maybe I will.
I'll sit across the aisle and catch 40 winks myself. There we are. Good night.
Good night.
With its twin motors purring in an even, steady rhythm, the gray transport plane slips through the cloudless night sky like some giant bird, leaving the rolling deserts of Arabia behind it and pointing its blunt nose toward Egypt. Hour after hour, it flies the uncharted highway of the heavens until finally dawn breaks over the green valley of the Nile. Looking out the window, Clark Kent follows the course of the muddy, winding stream when suddenly he sits bolt upright as he hears Jimmy's voice over the drone of the motors.
Mr. Kent. Mr. Kent.
Coming, Jimmy. What is it, Jim boy?
I don't feel so good, Mr. Kent.
No?
I feel warm and dizzy.
Oh, here, let me feel your forehead. Mm-hmm.
My right arm hurts, too. Kind of a drawing pain.
Have you been sleeping?
Except for the last few hours. I didn't want to call you because I figured you were asleep.
Oh, that's silly. You should have called me.
Why feel so warm, Mr. Kent? And why does my arm hurt?
Well, those cuts on your finger might be bothering you. I'll call Lois. Lois? Lois?
Yes?
Lois, come here a minute, will you? No, Jim, don't take that blanket off.
What is it, Clark?
Why, Jimmy seems to be a little feverish.
Good heavens.
Go up front and ask the pilot how soon we land at Khartoum, will you? We're over the Nile now.
Is it the poison, do you think, Clark?
I don't know. Hurry, will you?
Oh, I will.
Gosh, I feel awful causing you and Miss Lane all this trouble.
Oh, no.
Maybe you should have sent me back home.
Nonsense. You'd do the same for me, wouldn't you?
I guess so. If only I didn't feel so dizzy and...
We land at Khartoum in 20 minutes. Is he bad?
No, he'll be all right, won't you, Jim?
Sure.
Let me see. Oh, Clark, he's burning up.
Nonsense. It's just a little fever.
Touch his forehead.
I did.
Why didn't I make you turn back to Mecca? Oh, why?
Lois, please, if anything has to be done, he's better off in Khartoum.
Look at all the time we've wasted. Hours and hours.
I'll be all right, Miss Lane.
Sure you will.
Honest, I will.
Oh, Jimmy.
Don't worry. Please.
Jimmy.
Clark, he's fainted. What are we going to do now? I'm worried. They've been in that examination room for over an hour.
Now you'll go to pieces, Lois, unless you get hold of yourself. Everything possible is being done for Jimmy. You heard what Dr. Hammond said. The entire resources of the hospital are at our disposal.
Oh, I know, but that doesn't help matters any. Did you see Jimmy's face when they wheeled him into the examination room?
I know.
Clark, it was grayish white. He didn't seem to be breathing.
You're making it sound much worse than it really is, Lois. Jimmy's a thin, wiry youngster, the kind with loads of resistance. He'll pull through. I know he will.
Here comes Dr. Hammond now.
Please, Lois, please, don't let go.
I'm awfully sorry to have kept you two waiting, but we ran into a little difficulty.
What?
Difficulty? What do you mean, Doctor?
Easy, Lois.
We almost lost the boy on the examination table, Miss Lane.
Steady, Lois, steady.
For some strange reason, his pulse suddenly began to flutter. It was touch and go for a moment, but, well, we managed to pull him through with blood plasma.
Oh, then he's all right now.
Well, not quite. He's a pretty sick boy. Unfortunately, we have no way of knowing just what type of poison is filtering through his system. We're inclined to agree with you, Mr. Kent, that it's a snake venom. However, what he needs now is a blood transfusion immediately. We've plenty of plasma, but I'd prefer the real thing in this case.
Oh, please, will you take me for the transfusion?
Oh, no, Lois, I'll do it.
We'd prefer a male, Miss Lane, provided, of course, that Mr. Kent's blood is a matching type. If you'll come with me, Mr. Kent.
Yes, certainly. I'll be back shortly, Lois. Sit down and try to relax, will you?
This way, Mr. Kent. Just step inside, please.
Thank you.
Mr. Kent, I didn't want to appear too pessimistic in front of Miss Lane, but I'm afraid the situation is, desperate.
You mean you don't think...
Well, as you know, of course, we can never be quite certain of anything in connection with the human body, but I should say from all indications the odds are against the boys pulling through.
Very hard to take, Doctor. I've known Jimmy for a long time. We've been through a lot together. I'd miss him terribly.
I understand exactly how you feel, and believe me, Mr. Kent, everything possible will be done. We're a little handicapped because of the lack of antivenin.
Antivenin? What's that?
Well, it's a serum used to combat snake poison. We had quite a supply of it, but one of Mr. Hitler's planes flew over a few days ago and blew it sky high.
Would antivenin help Jimmy?
Undoubtedly. But getting any is out of the question. The nearest source of supply is Cairo, almost 1,000 miles from here.
Well, that's not so far.
There isn't a plane in Cairo that would get here in less than 5 hours, Mr. Kent. And in a case like this, 5 hours is a lifetime.
But I think I can... that is, Dr. Hammond, if I can get you some antivenin, do you think you can save Jimmy's life?
Well, I'm quite certain of it, Mr. Kent.
Well, then you'll have it, Doctor.
Well, Kent, where are you going? What about the blood transfusion?
You and Miss Lane or someone else. I have more important work to do. Who has this antivenin serum in Cairo?
Well, there's plenty of it at the Cairo General Hospital, but you're being stupid, man. I told you Cairo's 1,000 miles away. This boy is dying. It may be a matter of minutes.
Don't worry, Doctor.
What? Oh, Kent, come back. Kent! Avoiding Lois by slipping out a rear door of the hospital, Clark Kent darts into an alley between two frame buildings.
Here we are. I guess this is private enough to make the change. 1,000 miles, eh? Ah, that's barely a hop.
For Superman. There we are. All set to go. Up, up, and away!
Like an arrow shot from a bow, Superman wings high above the city of Khartoum, until even his amazing eyes can only see the winding river of the Nile below. Gathering every ounce of his unearthly strength, he heads north toward Cairo, his colorful costume a blue and red streak through the cloudless heavens. Meanwhile, back at the hospital in Khartoum, Clark Kent's strange behavior has both Lois and Dr. Hammond puzzled.
You say he walked out of the room before you could do the transfusion, Doctor?
Yes, Miss Lane, I don't understand it at all.
Didn't he give you any explanation?
None whatever. I was telling him that if we had some anti-venom, we'd stand a better chance of pulling the youngster through.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the only supply is in Cairo, 1,000 miles from here.
Doctor, do you think perhaps he was afraid of going through the transfusion?
Afraid? Well, I hardly think so, Miss Lane. He seems like rather a sturdy young man, a little timid, but well set up physically.
I'll never forgive him for this. Walking out on poor Jimmy when the boy needs him most. But it's almost inhuman. Isn't there anything I can do, Doctor?
No, afraid not, Miss Lane. Your blood isn't the same type. We've given him more plasma, but that's just a temporary measure. I'm afraid I'm afraid there isn't a great deal of hope.
Oh, you mean that Jimmy is going to...
Yes. He's getting weaker by the moment, Miss Lane. I think you'll have to resign yourself to the fact that... Well, great heavens! There he is!
Who?
Kent, coming through the front door.
Sorry I ran out on you, Dr. Hammond.
Oh, Kent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Any other human being in the world would give aid to an animal in danger of its life. But you desert a helpless boy on his deathbed.
You all through, Lois?
I'm not through. I'll have plenty to tell you before this is over. Plenty.
Good. Here's your antivenin, Dr. Hammond.
Huh?
6 types.
What?
I said, here's the antivenin you wanted, the snake poison serum.
Clark, you mean...
Kent, where did you get this?
Well, what difference does it make? You're wasting precious moments. You've got it. Now use it.
Well, yes, you're right. Of course, I am wasting time talking here, but excuse me.
Clark, I don't quite understand all this.
I'm sorry you thought I ran out on Jimmy, Lois.
What else could I think? I tried to tell myself it was unbelievable, but Dr. Hammond...
Yes, I know. He seemed surprised, too.
Clark, can't you tell me what happened? Where did you find the antivenin? Dr. Hammond said there wasn't any nearer than Cairo.
Well, Dr. Hammond was evidently wrong, don't you think?
Yes, of course. You couldn't have gone to Cairo and back again in those few minutes.
No, actually not. Even Superman isn't that fast.
Clark, I'm awfully sorry for what I said. Please accept my apology, won't you?
Sure. After all, the one thing we're both concerned with is Jimmy's recovery.
What's that alarm bell for?
Well, I don't know.
Air raid! Take to the shelter!
Air raid. Nice time for the Germans to be coming over.
What'll we do?
Everyone take to the shelter, please. Take to the shelter.
Oh, Clark. What was that?
There was a bomb bursting.
Clark, they're liable to hit the hospital. What about Jimmy?
Well, they're not supposed to bomb hospitals, but there's no telling what those Nazis will do. Uh-oh. We better follow the crowd down to the shelter, Lois.
What about you?
I'll go in and stand by Jimmy in case anything happens.
Well, can't I go with you?
No, I think you'll be better off in the shelter.
Please, everyone, down to the shelter.
Go ahead, Lois, please. I'll meet you once the all clear is sounded.
Well, all right. And if Jimmy regains consciousness, give him my love.
I will, Lois. Now to get out that rear door again.
Hey, you there in the civilian clothes. Down to the shelter, please.
Not me, buddy. I've got a little job to do. There they are, right up above us. 8 Nazi bombers. Now, I'm certain they have no respect for the red crosses painted on the roof of this hospital. Oh, I thought not. That was too close to be an accident. All right, my indecent friends, we'll fix your little air raid. Off with these clothes. There we are. Now it's
Superman's turn. I can't go up after you just yet because one of you might hit the hospital while I was taking care of the others. Oh, another close one. No time to waste. Up on the roof for me. Up!
Leaping to the roof of the hospital, Superman takes a firm stance and is ready for anything that may happen. High above him, the deadly German bombers spread out to avoid the anti-aircraft fire that has just started. As though by magic, the narrow, winding streets of the city, a moment ago crowded with colorful Egyptians and uniformed soldiers, are suddenly empty. Alone in the sprawling vastness, Superman, red cape flung out behind him, looks up at the German bombers.
All right, boys, let them come. We're going to play baseball for a while, you and I. You toss them and I'll catch them. Only this is one ball game we're playing for higher stakes than money. We're playing for human lives. One error may cause a lot of trouble. But that doesn't worry me. All right, come on. Start dropping them, you Nazi murderers. All right, you Nazi murderers, I'm ready for you. We'll play a little game of baseball, you and I. You toss them and I'll catch them. That one missed by a mile. So did that. Don't tell me you're not trying to hit this hospital. From all I've heard, you'll bomb anything with a roof on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, no, I'm not. Here comes one, and it's a big one. Looks like a 1,000-pounder. Aimed right at the hospital. Well, we'll see how far it gets. That's number 1. Now, I'll just rip the detonator cap off and drop the bomb in the sand. An American plane can deliver it back to Berlin with my compliments. All right, boys, how about tossing me a curve now? That one was too easy. You couldn't play for a sandlot ball team pitching them that way. Let's see a couple of tough ones. Come on.
As though in answer to Superman's challenge, 2 huge 1,000-pound bombs drop from the rack of one of the German planes and come hurtling down toward the hospital roof. Again, Superman catches them, this time one in each hand, rips off the detonator caps, and brings them down into the sand 2 stories below. Meanwhile, 10,000 feet above the city, the bombardier of the plane that has been concentrating on the hospital looks up from his bomb sights, his face ashen gray, and his eyes bright with terror. Quickly, he flips the communicator key, opening the telephone line between himself and the pilot.
Oberleutnant.
Yeah, what's this?
My eyes. Something has happened to my eyes.
What are you talking about?
There is a man on the roof of the hospital. Twice I have dropped bombs, and twice he has caught them in his hands.
Are you out of your mind?
Believe me, Oberleutnant. I see it clearly through the bomb sight. He wears a red cape.
Silence, you fool. Either you are suffering hallucinations, or it is an optical illusion. A British trick. I will drop to 5,000 feet. Release another bomb, and I will watch through binoculars.
Ja, Oberleutnant.
Friedkin, Achtung.
Jawohl.
We are at 5,000 feet. Release the bomb. I will watch it.
Jawohl. It is released, Oberleutnant.
So I see. I am following it down. It will be a hit. A direct hit. No, fake. So my eyes deceive me. It's a man in a red cape. He has caught the bomb.
You see, I am right.
No, it's impossible. It's some foul British trick. Both the Bombay and man's a machine gun. Whatever it is, we will eliminate it at once. I am diving. You are ready with the machine gun, Friedkin?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, man or trick, get rid of it, you understand?
Jawohl.
I will bring you directly over the hospital roof and pull out at 200 feet.
Sehr gut.
Do not lose your head, Friedkin. It is only a trick.
Ja, Oberleutnant.
We are at 1,000 feet. 900. 800. 7. 600. 5. Friedkin, but it's the man. It's flying up to meet us.
No, that cannot be.
I tell you it is. Look.
Then pull out, for heaven's sake. Pull out. It's too late.
It's too late.
I tell you, Clark, 3 air raid wardens, or whatever they call them down here, saw him standing on the hospital roof, catching German aerial bombs as though they were,
Baseballs?
Yes, baseballs. Well, where were you while all this was going on?
Right outside the door.
And you didn't see Superman on the roof?
No, and I don't think the Egyptian air raid wardens did either.
They're not Egyptian, they're English. And 3 of them couldn't be wrong. Not only did Superman stop the bombs, but he wrecked one of the German planes in midair. You saw the wreckage strewn all over the park, didn't you?
Yes, but one of the anti-aircraft batteries could have done that.
You know, I don't know why it is, but whenever anybody mentions Superman and the amazing things that he does, you poo-poo it. It's just that you're jealous.
Jealous? Why should I be jealous?
Because you can't do the things that he can.
Oh, now, believe me, Lois, I'm the last person in the world to be jealous of Superman. After all, what's he got that I haven't got?
Oh, Clark, you're not serious.
Well, of course I am.
Well, let's not waste time discussing it. It's the most laughable thing I ever heard of. But do you realize that Superman saved this hospital from being destroyed?
Oh, did he?
Now, you're just trying to be funny. What did Dr. Hammond tell you about Jimmy?
Well, no more than he told you. The antivenin injection seemed to have worked.
Oh, good.
Jimmy's fever has dropped, and evidently the crisis has passed.
How long will he have to remain in the hospital?
Oh, at least a week, possibly longer. You know, I was thinking that I'd go on to the Congo and leave you here with Jimmy.
Oh, you were? Well, isn't that interesting?
Well, it's the only possible solution, Lois. We can't leave Jimmy here alone, and the pilot of our plane refuses to wait over a week.
Even if you pay him something extra?
Well, that air raid scared the life out of him. He wants to go on to Lado, where he planned to drop us off, or return to Mecca.
Well, this much I know. You're not going on without me. Whether you like it or not, I'm just as important as you are.
It hasn't anything to do with importance, Lois. If the pilot returns to Mecca, none of us will go. Lado is 700 miles from here. It would take 3 weeks to get there by boat. And what I understand, the Nile has some awfully treacherous spots.
All right, then none of us will go.
But, Lois, we promised the sheik we'd make every effort to find his son. We've accepted money and we...
Here comes Dr. Hammond.
I'll take care of that. Oh, I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Jimmy's sleeping now. He's rallied beautifully.
Oh, good.
A week should see him up on his feet and as good as new.
Well, that takes a big load off our minds, Doctor.
You've been wonderful, Dr.
Oh,
Hammond.
I can't take any credit much as I'd like to. It was Mr. Kent who dug up that antivenin serum. Where on earth did you find it, Kent?
Well, I'm afraid that'll have to remain a secret
Huh?
for personal reasons. You say Jimmy won't be out of bed for a week?
At least a week. It'll take that long for the swelling in his arm to recede.
Well, that creates a problem.
A problem? Well, can I be of any help?
No, I don't think so. Tell me, Doctor, would Jimmy be quite safe here if Miss Lane and I decided to leave Khartoum for a week or so?
Oh, do you think I'm going to leave Jimmy alone in a strange city? Why, you're out of your mind.
He won't be alone, Lois. If Dr. Hammond
No,
feels...
just a moment, Kent, just a moment. Something's troubling both of you. Perhaps if you'll tell me what it is, I may be able to help. After all, I'm a good deal older than you are.
You might just as well tell him, Clark.
Okay. You see, we were on our way to the Belgian Congo, Dr. Hammond, when this thing happened to Jimmy.
The Belgian Congo?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what on earth would you do down there?
Well, it may sound a little fantastic, but while we were in Mecca, we met Sheikh Mohammed. He told us his son had gone to the Belgian Congo 15 years ago and had not been heard from since. So I promised the Sheikh I would try to find his son.
You mean to say you plan to take Miss Lane and young Jimmy into the Congo?
Well, that's just the point, Dr. Hammond. I realize it's no place for them, and I've been trying...
hold on a minute, Mr. Kent. I'm a newspaper reporter, Dr. Hammond. My job is to get the story no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
The Belgian Congo doesn't frighten me. I'm not the kind who screams at the sight of a mouse.
Well, that may very well be, Miss Lane, but still in all, most of the Congo is wild, impenetrable jungle. Strong men have lost their lives going through it. It's hardly the place for a woman and a boy.
But I tell you,
Dr. Hammond is absolutely right, Lois. If Prince Saber is alive, which I doubt, I can find him alone.
Oh.
Prince Saber, did you say, Kent?
Yes, he's the Sheikh's son, the one who's missing.
Saber.
It's an unusual name, isn't it?
Yes, very unusual. And yet I seem to have heard it before. Let me think a moment.
Well, I imagine it's an Arabian name, Doctor. Probably handed down from the ancient Hebrew.
Saber. Now, where have I heard that name? Where... Wait a moment, I know. We have a patient here whose name is Saber.
What?
He's suffering with tropical fever.
Well, that's rather a coincidence, isn't it?
I wonder... Tell me more about the man you're looking for, Kent.
Dr. Hammond, you don't think that your patient is Prince Saber, do you?
Stranger things than that have happened in the Far East, Miss Lane. Kent, how old is the prince?
Well, now, let's see. His father told us he left Mecca when he was 25. That would make him 40 now.
Yes, I should say this man is about 40. Is the prince tall or short, do you know?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Sheik neglected to give us that information.
I suggest we have a look at this man, Kent. Of course, as you say, it may simply be a coincidence that he bears the same name as the chap you're looking for. On the other hand, it's a rather unusual name, and to run across it twice like this might mean something. What do you say? Shall we have a look?
Oh, yes, of course. Coming along, Lois?
Yes, I'm coming.
Just follow me. I think he's in Ward A, but we'll find out soon enough. Strange how that name struck with me. I'm usually very bad at names, Ken, but that one evidently registered. Oh, here we are. Now then, there he is in the fourth bed on the right. After you, Miss Lane, Ken.
Thanks.
Seems to be sleeping. These tropical fever cases sleep a great deal.
He certainly looks Arabian, if that means anything.
I'm afraid it doesn't. Khartoum is probably full of arrows.
No, it is. Aren't you in possession of any facts, Ken? Any identifying marks that might tell...
Oh, Scott, Doctor, how stupid of me. It's a lucky thing you mentioned identifying marks, Dr. Hammond.
You mean the prince has some that you're aware of?
Yes. A V-shaped scar on his left shoulder, just below the collarbone.
Well, now we're getting somewhere. You say the left shoulder?
Yes.
Groping in the darkness for the light switch, she is suddenly frozen stiff as a voice filters out of the pitch black. A voice that says...
Do not move, Miss Lane, and do not cry out.
Who are you? What are you doing in my room?
My identity is unimportant. My presence is another matter. Now, don't reach for the light switch. We shall have to conduct all our business in the dark.
What sort of nonsense is this?
Sit down in a chair, Miss Lane.
Very well.
That's much better.
Well, now what?
I will come closer to you now. I am standing in front of you. Now I shall reveal myself to you, Miss Lane. I shall illuminate my face with a small flashlight. So. You recognize me?
You're the man in the dining room. The one who tried to poison us. The...
Say it, Miss Lane, the one-eyed man. I'm quite accustomed to it. Just to show you I'm not sensitive about it. Look at me. Look at me. That's right. You're fascinated by my ugliness, aren't you?
No.
Yes, you are. There's something frightening about it. Frightening and fascinating. That's perfect. Keep looking at me. You're getting drowsy, aren't you? You'd like to drop off to sleep.
What?
Drowsy. Sleep. Sleep.
No, please.
Sleep. 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 There, she's asleep. A perfect hypnosis. Now, Miss Lane, you are ready to do my bidding. Do you understand? You are ready to do my bidding. Is that clear? Answer me. Is that clear?
Yes.
Good. To begin with, you and Mr. Kent are on your way to the Belgian Congo to search for Prince Seba. Is that not true?
Yes,
But what, Miss Lane?
Hospital. The hospital.
What are you trying to tell me, Miss Lane?
Prince Saber. The hospital.
Think hard, Miss Lane. What are you trying to say?
Prince Saber is in the hospital.
What hospital? What hospital, Miss Lane? Answer me.
Here in Khartoum.
You are not telling me the truth. You mustn't lie to me.
The truth. It's the truth.
How do you know?
I saw him today.
You saw Prince Seba in the Khartoum hospital. Are you sure?
Yes. Yes.
What room is he in? Miss Lane, what room is Prince Seba in?
The ward. Ward A.
You have been very helpful, Miss Lane. You see, I have no desire to harm either you or Mr. Kent. My concern is only with Prince Seba. If what you have just told me is the truth, I will no longer bother you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now I must leave. You will have no recollection of this little episode. When you awaken, it will be as though from a deep sleep. It is now 10 minutes after midnight. The bell on the Khartoum mission will ring at 1 o'clock. It will awaken you. Good night, Miss Lane. Good night.
Leaving the hotel, the mysterious one-eyed Egyptian walks rapidly up the deserted street, a strange, vindictive smile playing about his thick lips. Lengthening his stride, he turns the corner, but as he does so, a familiar figure steps out of the shadowed darkness of a doorway.
Just a moment. I'd like to talk with you.
Beg your pardon.
Don't bother begging my pardon. You remember me, don't you?
I am sorry. The street is dark. I cannot see you.
My name is Kent. Clark Kent. Does that mean anything to you?
I do not recall the name. Have we met before?
Yes, under rather strange circumstances. You tried to poison me.
You are joking.
No, I'm not joking. You sent some drinks to my table tonight.
Oh, yes, of course. You are the American with the young woman.
Oh, you remember now, eh?
Yes, naturally. I trust you enjoyed the cordial.
Look, my friend, you're not pulling any wool over my eyes. Those drinks were poisoned, loaded with cyanide of potassium.
I do not understand.
You understand perfectly. Now, who hired you to get rid of Miss Lane and myself? Do you belong to the Black Narcissus cult?
The Black Narcissus cult? I do not quite comprehend.
Listen to me. I have neither the time nor the inclination to bandy words with you. Now, I may look harmless, but you'll discover differently unless this nonsense stops. Neither you nor any other member of your sneaking, murdering cult can stop me from doing exactly as I wish to do.
But, Mr. Kent, these accusations, they are uncalled for.
Your little act doesn't impress me, my friend. I've met smooth talkers like you before. You're all cut in the same pattern. As a matter of fact, I think I should deliver you to the local authorities. You're a dangerous person to be allowed to roam around loose.
Now you are talking like a fool. What do you expect to prove?
That you're a would-be murderer. You made an attempt on my life and the life of Miss Lane.
This is all very amusing.
Well, it won't be so amusing by the time I'm through with you. Come on.
Please take your hand off my arm.
Sorry, but you're a slippery article, and now that I've got you, I'll hold on to you.
I said, please take your hand off my arm.
And I said no. Come along.
One moment. I should like to show you my identification. Perhaps once you know who I am, your opinion of me will change.
What do you mean?
If you will release my arm, I will show you.
All right. But remember one thing. I don't trick easily. And if you're thinking of pulling a gun or a knife out of your pocket, forget it. They don't bother me either.
I have no intention of using a gun or a knife. What I wish to show you is this.
What is it?
A tiny capsule containing a dose of poison 10 times as powerful as the cyanide used in your drinks.
Oh, then you admit poisoning those drinks.
You are very clever, Mr. Kent. Yes, I admit it. But I had prepared myself for an emergency like this. I knew that someday I would be caught. Good fortune cannot last forever. But I vowed never to be caught alive. So, therefore, I swallow this deadly capsule.
No, wait.
Too late, Mr. Kent.
This is just a trick to avoid arrest.
You are quite right. It is a trick, but a very costly one. I am paying for it with my life. It will only take a moment or two until the capsule dissolves. I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
I've had enough of this play acting. It's all very interesting,
Wait,
but
it's beginning to work.
Oh,
Yes.
You're putting on a beautiful performance, but it's wasted on...
Believe me, this is the end.
Oh! Caught him just in time. Fainted. Oh, wait. His hands are ice cold. I can't feel any heartbeat. Is this on the level? I can't believe it. Better get him to the hospital in a hurry. I'll have to do it as Superman. Up, up, and away! This is probably a silly question, Dr. Hammond, but do you think there's any hope for him?
I'm afraid not, Kent. He's scarcely breathing, and I can barely detect a heartbeat. Whatever it was he took is slowly but surely killing him. There's nothing we can do. Look at his face. It's ashen gray. It's only a matter of minutes now. Shall we wait in the anteroom? This ward isn't a very pleasant place.
As you wish.
After you, Kent.
Thank you.
Tell me, if I'm not being too inquisitive, where on earth did you find him at this hour of the night?
It's a long story, Dr. Hammond, and just a little fantastic.
Nothing that happens in the Far East is fantastic, Kent. You get to know that after a while. Egypt particularly is honeycombed with strange people, members of secret societies and mysterious cults. They practice weird ceremonies, even to the extent of self-destruction.
That man in the ward is a member of a cult.
I thought as much. Well, he isn't anymore, I'm afraid. Death has come by now.
I'm afraid you're right, Doctor. I'm afraid you're right.
But even as Dr. Hammond, his voice hushed, uttered the pronouncement, a strange, chilling scene is taking place in the dimly lit hospital ward. The one-eyed Egyptian, a moment ago pale and motionless on the iron hospital cot, has lifted his head. Slowly, soundlessly, he rises to his feet and scans the room. And then, moving swiftly like some great cat, he passes from bed to bed, examining each medical chart. Suddenly, he stops short, and a knowing smile curls his lips. His voice is a faint, scarcely heard whisper as he says,
So, you are Prince Seba.
Don't miss tomorrow's thrilling episode of this exciting Superman story. It's the conclusion of the Far Eastern adventure. So be sure to listen tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
Fellows and girls, don't ever get the idea there's nothing you can do to help win this war. Of course, we can't all be members of Uncle Sam's armed forces because some of us are too young or too old. But that doesn't mean we can't get into this fight. No, sir. Because there is one big important thing we can do. We've got to see that our fighters are supplied with all the bullets and guns and tanks and ships and planes they need to wipe Hitlerism and fascism off the face of the earth. How? By buying all the war-saving stamps and bonds we possibly can. Because every time we buy a war-saving stamp or bond, we lend our government money with which to finance our fight. So remember, talk with Mother and Dad tonight about giving you an extra dime every day or every other day for war-saving stamps. Talk about it with all your friends. Get them to make a pledge with you to buy war-saving stamps regularly.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.